Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Noah, and this video is going to be all about another scam that I was able to find here in the United States. I made a video about a week ago going over what kind of ripoff buying canned or bottled water was when comparing it to getting water from your tap right at home. And without going into too many details, I was able to find out that buying one can of Liquid Death from your local convenience store is the same price as filling that same amount of water from your tap 8,800 times. So in this video, I have another example that I wanted to share with you guys. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So for a little bit of background, about a week ago, I was cutting, vegetables and meats or whatever it may have been. And I noticed that the knives were not performing as they usually do, right? So they were dull, right? They were dull. I was having trouble cutting, so I was looking into different options to get my knife sharpened, right? Knife or knives, whatever it may be. And as ads work, right? Someone was listening to me or someone was watching my search history, and I was promoted with this ad by a company called Knife Aid, and I'm going to show you just a snippet from their marketing right now.
We're Knife Aid, a professional knife sharpening service. In just 3 clicks on our website, our Knife Aid protective envelope will be en route to your mailbox. Simply package and mail your knives in our safe, hassle-free envelope. Our knife smiths will give your knives the sharpest possible.
So in essence, this company is a knife sharpening company, right? So someone was listening, they saw that heard that I needed my knife sharpened and decided to throw this ad my way. And, as a lot of their marketing material promotes, you basically wrap up your knife, you send it out to them, they sharpen it and they send it back, and then you have a fresh knife, right? So simple enough. But I had some questions, right? I had a few more than some questions. But one of the main things, of course, is how much does this cost, right? So that's the first thing that usually everybody will ask for everything. They want a car, how much is it? They want a computer, how much is it? They want a camera, how much is it? So what I decided to do was I went to their website, which we can see right here. So this is the Knife Aid website. There's this guy with some cool tattoos sharpening a knife under a lamp. This is great. And you go down here, and you can actually do a kind of a price estimator for the amount of knives that you want to get sharpened. It doesn't let you go to 1, right? So maybe there's a minimum of 4, but just for the sake of simplicity, let's select 4 knives. And how often do you want them sharpened? Maybe just once for right now. So no subscription. I'm not going to add this to cart, right? But we can see that it's $53.10, which is roughly $13 per knife. So already in my mind right now, there are red flags going all over, right? So I hear $53, and what you want to do as a smart consumer is kind of compare what you can get elsewhere for the same price. So just a quick Google search, right? So $53. Let's type in knives for $55, right? Look at all of these options, right? Look at this. Henkel's knife, Japanese knife, Nikiri, look at all of these knives. So the first issue that I have with this is that why wouldn't I just buy a brand new knife, right? So it's going to cost $53, right? Just for the service and the shipping, or actually maybe not even. I'm not entirely sure, but it's going to cost $53 at the minimum. Why wouldn't I just go buy a new knife? Granted, we're comparing multiple knives to just one, but let's say you wanted to just get rid of yours, right? And just buy a brand new one. And so that was the first issue that I saw with this, is that the cost just seemed like a little bit much, right? Because it's one of those things where, like I said, you can get a brand new one for the same amount of money. The second issue that I had with this, or concern, is that I want to sharpen my knives, right? So I have 4 knives right here. I have 4 knives total. I send in all 4 knives because I need them all sharpened. They're all dull. And the next question is, okay, well, where am I sending them to, right? Is my neighbor next door going to sharpen them and they send them back so I can pick them up the same day? And this is kind of how it works, right? So you package them up, you put them in the mailbox, 24-hour turnaround, which makes you think, okay, well, 24-hour turnaround. It must get back to me in a day, right? So I send it, maybe next day shipping, overnight, whatever. But you go to the next little artsy shit here, right? And it says, in about a week, you will be slicing and dicing with fresh edge again. Okay, great. What am I supposed to use in that week? How am I gonna cook? Do I just go out to eat every single meal, for that entire week? Hey Noah, I'm pretty hungry. Can we get some food going? Get some food made, cut the vegetables, cut the meat, whatever it may be. Oh, sorry, all of the knives were dull, so I sent them over to Knife Aid and they're going to come back sharper than ever. They're going to be so sharp, they're going to cut through all of our food. It's going to be so good. Okay, that's great. How do we, I've got all this broccoli and cauliflower and cucumbers and chicken in the fridge. How are we going to cut it? What do we do? What do we do until then? Shit. So this seems problematic to me, where I'm gonna have to go about a week, right? They didn't say in a week exactly, right? They say about a week. So what if shipping is slow? Do I get it back in 2 weeks, week and a half? No one really knows. You don't know until you're without knives, without cutlery, for some time. And of course, you can do separate loads, right? But then the cost might be different, right? Because this is like a membership thing. I don't really know, but that was the second concern, that I had with something like this. And the third detail that I was really thinking about was basically looking back at the dollar amount, right? So it's $53. And the question becomes well, can I get something to maybe sharpen my own knives for $53? And I'm going to show you guys how truly easy it is to get some information about this, right? So we know that it's $53 for these four knives, right? Go to YouTube, right? Let's do best knife sharpener 2023, right? One Google search. Look at all of these videos right here, right? All of these videos. How many results do we have about all these different sharpeners? What one's good, what one might be bad, how they work, all these reviews. I mean, just it's endless, right? It's an endless world of information. And you can even see that I've watched one right here. And basically a spoiler is that you can get an extremely good, actually the best performing knife sharpeners are right around that $60 to $70 range. So this long, without going into it, this channel right here is kind of a gold standard, I think, on YouTube. But basically, he compares some of the cheapest knife sharpeners in this video and then the most expensive one, and he found that with all the testing that he does, it's truly remarkable that the best one was in fact like a $60 or $70 knife sharpener. So that goes back to, why would I pay for a one-time sharpening for these four knives when I can buy the equipment to do it and have it perennially, right, forever, or for years, for a decade, whatever it may be. So, this is something that I came across, that came through my newsfeed, right, through the great algorithm, and I couldn't help but see that it was kind of maybe not a scam, but a ripoff is kind of a good way to put it. And I know, this is of course like a valid company, right? They promote that they were on Shark Tank, The View. I've never heard of The View, if I'm being candid. They're mentioned in Forbes and Eatery and Food and Wired and so on. And I think that's great. But when you break down the actual fundamentals of the process, what you're getting out of it, at what cost, this just becomes a luxury that really nobody needs, when there's all these different things you can consider, where you're going to be without knives. You're going to have to pay this amount when you could just buy a new knife. You can pay this amount, and like I said, get a sharpener that you can easily teach yourself to use with the instructions. This guy even goes into instructions on how to use each of the knife sharpeners, and then you have it forever, right? So it's too much of a luxury for me to really even consider it. So hopefully you were able to see how picking apart a service like this can really lead to a lot of good insights as to if you're actually getting a good deal, if your money is going to be well spent. Another thing that I hope that you can take away from this video is that it doesn't take much effort nowadays in 2024 to find alternatives for things, right? So if you don't know how to sharpen a knife, maybe you see this, you don't want to pay this, so you watch this video, buy the sharpener, and then watch a video on how to use that tool, right? I'm sure that there's a video for every single piece of equipment here on the great YouTube, and you basically pay, like I said, the $60-$70, which is just slightly more than this, but then you get a sharpener that you can use whenever you want. You have your knives all the time. And you're going to save, you're going to save hundreds of dollars over the course of some years, right? Because generally speaking, knives go, when the knife is pretty sharp, it'll go dull, it'll go relatively fast as well. And of course, nothing against Knife Aid in this video, right? Like I said, it's a legit company. They're doing something, pretty cool, right? Whatever. But I just don't see it as necessary. I think there's so many alternatives to it that I don't know how it gets people paying for it, right? And I think this is also a good example where it's good to try to do things on your own. It's going to save you a lot of money, hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, over the course of years when you start actually taking on some responsibility for different tasks that you can do on your own. A lot of people like to promote, or a lot of companies like to promote, do it our way, right? So pay the professional knife sharpener to sharpen the knife, when in reality you can do just as good of job, with these tools that are exactly the same amount of money. So this, to me, just came off as a little bit, like I said, not quite a scam, but something that was just a little bit too much, a little bit too over the top. But there you have it. Those are a few of my thoughts on this Knife Aid company that I came across through the great algorithm. But of course, I want to hear from the viewers as well. Are there any other examples that you think might be a good video? Please let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, if you have any questions for me personally, or if you'd like to take a look at the financial services that I can provide to you, I've left my email and a link to my company website in the description box below. Thank you again so much for your time today, and of course, happy financing.